Many of us neurodivergents are hypervigilant as adults because at some point we weren't. We went into social situations as children, oblivious to the social expectations of neurotypicals. We presented as our authentic neurodivergent selves, selves that were often read as weird or offensive or insensitive, and social disaster ensued. We failed to engage in social appeasement strategies by conforming to neurotypical expectations of what normal behavior or communication looked like, and we were often judged, punished, or excluded in some way. And this series of negative experiences teaches us over time that we should mask and not be our authentic selves, and that we should constantly scan our environment for signs of frustration, annoyance, and preempt disaster before it strikes. We will look at people's body language, their tone of voice, their facial expressions, and scan them to see if they're offended, if they're hurt, if they're having a negative reaction to something we said or did. Are they happy? Do they find us funny? Are they annoyed with us? We race through a million thoughts in social interactions on a daily basis, anticipating that we're going to put a foot wrong so we can learn not to do that again and to repair if we can and catch it. Although a lot of the time we feel too shamed and embarrassed to catch it and respond and repair in the moment, especially if we have rejection sensitivity. And as a result, social interactions can feel very stressful for us as neurodivergents. We're constantly worrying about what we're going to do wrong next and how we're going to get into trouble and how somebody's going to be offended and we're going to lose a friendship or we're going to lose a job or we're going to, offend a colleague or a associate at our school setting, whatever it is, somebody that we happen to know that we're interacting with on a daily basis. If we offend them, what's going to happen? Is there going to be some form of social punishment for us getting something wrong? We are often preoccupied by this desire to get things right according to neurotypical social conventions, even though the rules were never taught to us, even though the only way we've learned and been able to learn is through negative feedback, often without people teaching us until after the fact, until after we're mired in shame and embarrassment and humiliation for having done something that was obviously wrong to neurotypicals but was not at all obvious to us. This shame fuels all of our attempts to survive in social situations. Because at the end of the day, as human beings, we are social creatures, and we do want to be socially accepted and included. And there can be nothing worse for many of us than being socially excluded. Being left out, being not asked and invited to parties or invited to events or included in some way can be more painful than actual active bullying. And so we're living in a world as neurodivergents in which we live in constant fear that we are going to be rejected and that we're not going to be included and we're going to be alone. It's a form of social death, per se, that we're preempting and we're trying to avoid. And we've lived through many of these deaths with the ends of friendships, exclusion from social circles, people not responding to us, people moving on with their lives and drifting away. And that teaches us that we have to overfunction to prevent this happening again. It is on us, often exclusively, to live in both worlds, the neurodivergent and neurotypical worlds, navigate wanting to show up as our authentic neurodivergent selves, but also meeting expectations of neurotypicals. And it can often feel like a Sisyphean task. We're pushing a boulder up a hill, hoping we can accomplish the expectations that aren't made explicit to us. And when we fail, expecting disastrous results. Have you struggled with hypervigilance as a neurodivergent person trying to appease neurotypicals in social interactions? I would love to hear all about your experiences.